Normally, I'm of the belief that a short review or an excerpt to discuss the game's merits and shortcomings aren't enough to give a complete analysis of the game's quality, but I think Doom is an exception to that rule. That's because Doom Eternal is a work of a developer showing total mastery of its craft. At a mechanical and design level, Doom is as close to a perfect game as games come. It's a game where every weapon, every tool, every enemy, and every game mode is crafted to serve a purpose, and each fulfills that purpose almost without a flaw. Doom 2016 was a benchmark of PvE combat design upon its release, but Doom Eternal somehow found ways to improve on such a strong foundation. This time around, every weapon mod has a purpose, and none of them seem like repeats. Enemies have been added and reworked to force you to adapt your playstyle depending on what enemies you fight. But they aren't so restrictive that there's only one trick that solves that problem. It allows you to experiment and use unorthodox styles if that's the way you play. One of the biggest differences is Doom Eternal reduces the amount of ammo you can carry. This forces you to have to switch your weapons more often and pick your targets more carefully, because you might not have the ammo for the next target in front of you, and you have to keep in mind who the next target you're gonna chainsaw is, because the only way you'll be getting your ammo back in a lot of these arenas is through the use of the chainsaw. To complement the fast and frenetic gunplay, this game also has extremely satisfying and creative sound design. Every gun has character, and the impacts of every gun don't resort to just deafening explosive sound effects. The game rewards smart plays with headshots and destruction of enemy parts having a satisfying clink to them. Just listen. These noises alone are worth taking the risk to get the headshot or break a specific part. And this is all before I even mention the music and soundtrack of this game, which just continues Doom's reign of having the most well-composed and executed soundtracks in the industry. And this is from a guy who doesn't even normally listen to metal music. I jam to these songs all the time, even when I'm not playing. Mick Gordon is a genius, and the man has knocked it out of the park again. Doom Eternal is the type of game that revels in its over-the-top action and gaminess. The game has floating guns and cards just waiting for you to pick them up. It has such confidence in its design and identity that it doesn't even try to hide it. The game isn't trying to find an excuse for it being a game. The game is very well aware that it's a game that's silly and it's fun and it's over the top. That's the point. Have a blast. When thinking of flaws with this game, there honestly aren't that many. There's only a few that I could come up with. One of them being that every time a new enemy gets introduced, a pop-up gets shown in front of you, and the tutorial pop-up tells you exactly what their weaknesses are and how to make the best out of your guns against them. But this isn't a big deal. You can go into the options and turn them off, and now you can experiment all you want. Another thing that was kind of a flaw, but it was less on id side and more just my NVIDIA drivers. About halfway through the game, I had driver updates that started causing black flickering in my screen, but it was working well before then, and I imagine within a patch it's going to be fixed. The last thing is one of the upgrade trees for your suit has to do with exploration, and honestly I didn't find any of them useful, but that's not that big of a deal either, because by the end of the game you have way more upgrade points than you need. So it's sort of a tree that's there that doesn't get used that much, but it's really isn't negatively affecting the game that much either. Doom Eternal is one of those games where it's hard to dislike it off of anything except for your personal preferences or taste. If this style of game isn't your cup of tea, then Doom probably won't be a game you like, but if you like these style of games, it's almost impossible to hate this game. This game is a must play for anybody who loves arcade shooters, who loves really action-packed games, for people who love games that make them feel powerful, or games where you want to master something, because Doom Eternal is a masterwork of game design and one of the best single-player shooters ever made.
my god, that was good. Oh my god, that was so good.